Welcome guys. Welcome to today's money managing on my weekly update for my budget. So yeah, we're gonna get basically almost a closeout of what I've done for this month of October. I'm still waiting, pending my October 30th. It's actually October 30th first payment or paycheck to close out the month. So I'm still on track as far as paying everything. I will give y'all an update on last week. I did something a little bit different, well, unbeknownst to me, but we will go into that in the video, guys. Stay tuned, hit that subscribe, and let's get to it. Alright guys, so this is my money management of budgeting myself. So I started this process back in July of me tracking my expenses and staying on track to get better at just maintaining my budget. This has really helped me get to a point in my budgeting that I am pushing forward into getting advanced. As far as what would you say, like a month ahead? That is my goal, is to work on getting a month ahead to the point where this eventually will just flow through as I get income. I'm not behind on my bills. So currently I am caught up with every ounce of my bill. I am no longer behind. 3 weeks. When I started this process, it was because I started a new job. I had to reset big time with my car, that I had to pull $5,000 out of what I saved early on this year. And so this is just me getting back on the grind of maintaining my budget. And so everything at this point has and should be deducted from October's budget schedule. I still have to wait for my October last paycheck of October, which is on the 31st. But with that, I will be paying my car payment, and that is it for the month. One thing I will mention was last week when I did this update, I had mentioned that I was waiting for that paycheck to pay my AT&T bill and my Jeep. They were going to go on that paycheck. Well, as it turns out, AT&T was on auto pay and I completely forgot. So it actually got deducted $146 from my paycheck. So it went toward that October 15th paycheck, which I will say, guys, I was okay. I had it. I maintained my monthly bills enough and buffer that I ended up having it to cover everything that was going to be taken out. The $146 that was supposed to go toward my medical, my security, my Amazon, and then my 2 memberships along with my Netflix. Those were still the only things that I lacked for the October 15th paycheck. Well, with that AT&T being deducted of $146, that is with my 2 phones that I do carry on my plan, that was actually taken out. And I completely forgot that I also had my Pink Zebra Scent Flirt membership that is $44. So with all of that taken out, I kind of had to scramble just to make sure I knew that these will be coming out first thing Monday of this week. And so for the medical Vivint, that's $80 plus my 2 memberships of $16. So that's $96 plus Netflix will be coming, should already deducted out too. So that's $100 right there. $110, $116. Well, that was taken away once the AT&T, came out. But lo and behold, my son also made payment toward his car insurance. So that also helped me in being able to cover for that, because his car insurance went toward the car insurance. But as it goes, it's just on a different pay scale, because he pays ahead on his car insurance. So that is how he is a month ahead on his car insurance. So like what he pays me for his car insurance, and actually going into November, in which I cover that, being the fact that it goes on my paycheck at that time. But yeah, so that is where I kind of almost lost it when that happened. But then I was like, no, I was able to look at my my tracking of all my bills, everything that was still pending or whatnot, what's to come, what and what hasn't been deducted. And I was a-okay. And the fact that I did have a buffer, I had I think $80 still left on buffering. I'll go into it here shortly. But so I was able to cover that. And then this past Saturday, he ended up giving me his money for his car insurance, which that portion of that's came out for medical and Vivint and everything is covered. So I did not have to worry about going into a negative. I am kind of relieved that AT&T did that, because now it leaves that $146 going into my October 31st payment or paycheck. Now that's not going to be deducted. And now that just leaves me more room to be able to do what I had planned on for November, which is move all of that payment, or that October 31st, to cover all of up to my mid paycheck in November. So that meant including my house payment, I'll be able to do that with this October 30th paycheck. Now I'll be able to pay my house, and that is awesome to me, because I had been going back a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so on and so forth, to get to this point where I'm actually able to pay exactly on time for my house. Meaning, whenever I do finish out October and then November, I'm hoping that I can at least push another payment, a week of payment ahead. So I'm getting on track. That is awesome to me. Doing this has really helped me, stay on track. It has helped me push forward and keep pushing until I am able to be ahead a couple of weeks like I plan. And my goal is, by the end of this year, is to be a couple of weeks ahead on, if not half my bills, at least, a fraction of my bills. And so that's just giving me more motivation. It's giving me more incentive to push forward, keep pushing, and keep tracking. So that's what I'm doing. So lo and behold, we are good for October bills. Now, meal planning, I will say, did not do so good. And the fact that I ate out a lot. And it was, I was treated to meals. It wasn't like, I cooked. We had leftovers Monday of last week. Tuesday, leftover. I made spaghetti. And then leftovers on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday came a whole different story. First off, my daughter ended up treating us to dinner after we went and took my granddaughter to trick-or-treating at the local museum here. She actually, was able to treat us, and, we were going to take her up on it after all. And then my son was like craving Outback for some reason, so we ended up going to Outback. And then Saturday, I was craving Firehouse. So that was a treat as well, because I didn't have to worry about paying for that. And then Sunday, we are on track to eat a meal that I cooked, and I can't remember what. And then Monday, Tuesday are leftovers. So let me go ahead and get these colored in. So dined out and treated is going to be yellow. So everything in yellow was a treatment of meal. And then I didn't pay for anything as far as cash, but I did make dinner and we had leftovers. I'm not going to highlight this one yet because I want to make sure I did not eat out. Plus, it is Sunday, guys, that I'm recording this, so I'm giving you guys Sunday that I do not plan to eat out, but Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the remainder of the month, I'm gonna see where it lands for that. And that is it. So, I mean, it's getting better. I need to not eat out as much. I mean, I don't eat a lot, especially because I try to avoid meat as much as possible, and I don't try to eat a lot of meat, or if any at all, because it just does not do me good. But anyways, that is where we're at on our meal plan as far as cash budgeting. So for cash, I did have for 1025 cash savings of $200. So we got $200 in cash, okay, that I pulled for savings, and I'll tell you how I was able to have $200 in cash. So we'll jump into here. So we are at, I ended up spending on the 20th, $10.83 at Dollar General. That was for business. That was for packaging, or I think it was packaging. And then $5 I helped with just a tip. My daughter didn't have enough to cover the, I threw in an additional $5. So that took all my $5 of what I had left from the 23rd. 27th, we ended up getting a $600 income from the insurance. And that goes toward insurance. Part of the insurance. And then, guys, I got $100 star note. So that $100 went into my star note love spell book. So I put that toward savings. That star note will not be used, so it is $100 in savings that I actually was able to put toward that. So I'm okay with that. $300 went into a bank deposit to cover the rest of those bills that I said that part of AT&T took. So it's paying the medical, my Vivinet, my Amazon, my 2 memberships that are coming out, and then my Netflix that's going to be coming out as well. So that is what $300 deposited of $230 that should cover. Plus I'm going to plan on paying $100 toward my electric. And then that leaves me with $70 buffer. And then I kept the $200 that I pulled in cash. That is what I pulled from the $600, $200 towards savings. And so that is what, so everything is deducted from, drafted out of my account for insurance. And my son basically, and my daughter essentially pay me back for that. That is what I'm able to bring to the table and have of $200 in savings. So that's where we're at currently with that. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these and speed through this process first so we can move on to the remainder of the week. Okay, so for these other ones, these do not get colored in. Because they are income and savings deposit. This one, I will say, I'm going to go ahead and, because these are mostly all utilities, so that's going to go highlighted blue for my utilities. I will say that because that's what that's going toward. And that is pretty much it where we're at. So I have 200 in savings. That will be tracked when we close out the month. And then from that, we're going to go ahead and jump into what my actual income savings that I did. So that I got from the 600. So at the beginning of the 24th, I had $63.90 left in my bank. Mind you, that was supposed to be the buffer. But because of AT&T taking out, I ended up, that was going to be deducted. Anyways, 600 went in, so it gave me a balance of $663.90. Medical is $30. Netflix is $27. Vivinet is $51. Amazon $22. Electric is $100, and then I $70 for buffer, giving $300.39. So that is what I deposited of $300. I didn't put the change in there, but $300 giving me a balance of $363 left over. Then I got a $100 star note, so that went into a savings, and then I kept $200 worth of for savings. So with the 60, leaving me a balance of $63.51, plus the $70 of the buffer that I have in there, now gives me a balance of $133.51 that will transfer over into the remainder of October, which I don't plan on using it. I have cash on hand if I need it. I don't plan on using it. This will actually roll over, should roll over into November's, along with my October 31st paycheck. Okay, so with that, we jump into where I'm at in my expenses. So as you guys know, last week I had $1177.85.93. Everything that's been deducted has been taken, recorded on here. So of course we had my State Farm house insurance was drafted. We had my car insurance drafted at the same time. They do get drafted together. And then I did end up getting a YouTube income. My income for YouTube was $125. So that did help in paying for that $146. I should have mentioned that. I completely forgot about that. But that was $125 that I got paid from YouTube. I left $25, I believe, into my separate savings account that I have. And then the $110 I transferred over, and that's where that $110 went into a deposit into my checking account. I then had my $145 of AT&T drafted. So from $1177, I had $851 from my house insurance, and then my car insurance left balance of $246.46. Then a deposit of $110 gave me $356.46. With AT&T drafting, it left me a balance of $210.89. And then I ended up pulling $40 in savings because I was able to do that. And I had $170.89 left over. Then, lo and behold, I completely forgot about my Pink Zebra membership subscription that I paid due. That was $44.38, leaving me a balance of $126.51. where I'm at now is I ended up putting $26 in cash savings because I don't know what was the determining factor of why I did that. This was supposed to be for my randomizer on Thursday live. I didn't go live, so I ended up using that cash savings toward my Halloween savings. So that's where $26 went toward. Balance of $100.51. Then we had HEB. I ended up putting $15 in fuel because that will come for October 30th. So $85.51. Now we're at $540 and $10.81 for my memberships, and giving me a balance of $69.30. I went ahead and put $300 in deposit, so now I'm at a balance of $369.30. When those other bills that are left, the Netflix, my security, my medical, and what else? There was something else. When those get deducted out, then I will be able to deduct those out. They're still not hit the account, so I will not be deducting those just yet. You just never know. And so that's where I'm at currently at this point, guys, is $369.30. But after everything should pay out, again, I should have about $63 left in, or 100 and, what was it, 130? Yeah, 133 left over. And that is it. That's where we are here currently this week. So I'm going to go ahead and speed through this, highlight everything I need to, and then I will be moving from that. So let's do that. Fuel. I'm almost done.
You live?
No, but I'm recording. Alright guys, and that is pretty much it. That's where we're at right now. So everything has been calculated. We are on track. Now all I'm just lacking is a remainder of those drafts to be taken, and then my October 31st to be paid, to come to me, so that I can pay the last bill of the month, which is my car payment. And then I should be able to close out the month of October, which will jump into our lovely category tracker here. I will give you a finalized total there, and then be able to give you each category total at that point. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It has been a long process. It takes a minute, but it is getting me on track and keeping me focused on the goal at hand. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's go ahead and use hashtag October for today's video. Just lets me know you watch all the way up to this point. I hope you guys enjoy seeing me tracking my budget. I am, pretty much giving you very much transparency on my income, and I hope it helps you with yours in the future, and as you're going along too, if you're going through this process as well. But with that being said, guys, much love. I will see you on the next one. Bye.